In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a color wheel using your acrylic paints. So you were given red, yellow, and blue paint, which I have already poured out onto this palette. I think your palettes are a little bit smaller. And then I've also got my cup of water here. I've got my flat paintbrush. I have a paper towel, and then I'm using the piece of paper that was in your art kits, which is a mixed media paper. So it should be thick enough to hold paint, and this is a great thing to use because it gives you a little bit more space. I found a circle, like a roll of tape to trace here, so I've created like a couple different circles using like objects that I had at home. And then once you have that like down, you want to break your circle into 12 different boxes. And I very lightly drew that in using pencil so that I have a guide. And then I also wrote just like the letter of the color that I'm going to put in each box just to help me remember. So like if you want to do that as a guide, you also can. So I'm going to start by using my lightest color first. I'm going to get my paintbrush wet, and I'm going to kind of like dry it off on my paper towel. And I'm going to use the color straight from my palette first. So I'm going to use yellow. That's the lightest color first. And yellow goes at the top of my color wheel. And if you need to go back and do a couple of layers after it dries, that's fine. And then I'm going to rinse my brush. And next up, I've got red straight from the palette. I'm going to use red, and I'm just using a little bit of paint at a time. You don't want too much because then it will get smeary and a little bit messy. And you do want to do this in this order because your color wheel is going to be a tool to help you later. So make sure that it's in the exact order that we're doing it. And then I'm going to rinse my brush again. And last up, I'm going to do blue. Then I'm going to mix the secondary colors. So I've got orange, green, and purple for my secondary colors. So I'm going to mix orange first. So in my palette, I'm going to pull a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red and mix them together. And you actually want a little more yellow than you do red to make orange. And mine's a little bit dark, so I'm going to pull in just a little bit more yellow. And that's a pretty nice orange that I've got there. And I'm going to apply it to the orange square over here. Next up, I'm going to mix green. So green is a mix of yellow and blue. So I'm going to pull in some yellow and just a dab of blue. I don't want to add too much at a time so that it doesn't get overpowered. So a little bit of blue with yellow goes a really long way. And there's my green, and I'm going to apply it to the green box here. And then last up, I am going to do purple. Purple is a mix of blue and red, so I'm going to start with a little bit more blue and just add a dab of red. I'm going to add some more. This one's a little bit easier to mix because you want to kind of use equal amounts of color here to make a nice purple. And then I'm going to apply it to my color wheel. And then to fill in the other ones in between, I've got yellow, orange, red, orange, purple, blue, blue, purple, blue, green, and yellow, green. You're going to mix those two colors together. So you want to make a color that looks like a mix between yellow and orange, red and orange, and so on and so forth. So you should get a shade that's kind of like in between the two colors that are already on the color wheel. And if you want to practice tints and shades, you can add a little bit of white and follow the gradient that is on the slide here. Up to you.